Hey guys, just a reminder, if you want to hear all of these wonderful B Plus podcast episodes completely ad-free, make sure you head over to Patreon or Podbean, where we are the featured podcast this week. You can subscribe for as little as $1 a month up to $10 a month, where anything you want to help us with, it really helps out. It's going to help us grow the site. It's going to help us redesign some things, and everything that we get through this and through the advertising as well is all going straight back into the podcast so that we can get Aussie Graps out there for the rest of the world to hear about, for the rest of the world to see, so we can grow this mission of watch global, support local, and build indie wrestling. So if you want to be a part of that and get some really cool rewards like call-in shows, bonus episodes, ad-free like I mentioned, then head over to patreon.com/theb+ and subscribe today.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Hey everyone, just want to take a second to tell you about one of our new sponsors, OUTBREAK NUTRITION. OUTBREAK NUTRITION are creating supplements for survival, sharper minds, quicker reflexes, all the energy you need to take your performance to the next level, whether that be on the field, in the gym, on the gaming field. That's right, they have specifically designed gaming supplements as well to help you focus on those late night sessions. They even sell coffee, you guys, at OUTBREAK NUTRITION. You can get coffee pods, you can get coffee beans, you can get supplements for the bedroom as well if you want to enhance your performance there. These are performance enhancing supplements for every aspect of your life, specifically designed by gamers, for gamers, to stay fit and healthy in the gym, to stay sharp and focused on the game, and to dominate in all areas of life. So check out OUTBREAKNutrition.com, and for being a listener of our podcast, they will give you 10% off your order when you enter the code B+. That is BPLUS at checkout. So make sure, if you want to stay on top of your game, if you want to take your performance to the next level, OUTBREAKNutrition.com, enter the code B+ at checkout.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening.
Hold one. Andre.
You're not good at this. Get out. Let me tell you a personal story about Vince McMahon.
You just made the list.
Oh my God.
Sorry, no speak English.
Dummy. Goodbye and good night. Hold two. On bar.
It's still real to me, damn it.
Dummy.
This is the worst town I've ever been in.
Hold three. Lamas covered. Three-handle family Gradunzo.
Mamma mia.
And now,
Unchained.media presents the B+ Podcast with your host, Greg Unchained.
It's me, Austin. It was me all along, Austin.
number four, armbar.
I will never retire.
I still got 200 more. I got 200 more holes to list.
All right, ladies, gents, and non-binary friends, welcome to another B+ podcast. I'm your host, Greg Unchained. Today is Monday. You know what that means. It's time for the Impact Zone. Joining me, as he does now, and I'm kind of enjoying it, Mr Myster1ous. How are you, buddy?
Absolutely going good. I can say the feeling's mutual.
That's good. That's good. Man, I am so tired. I think over this weekend, because we're recording this Sunday night for those who, like to peek behind the curtain. It's currently 7:30 p.m. where I am, but it's a lot earlier for you because you're on the West Coast.
What are the times the time zones work out to my advantage? Absolutely.
Yeah, they do. They really do, especially because we normally go later. So for you, it's kind of like a reasonable hour. But yeah, this isn't late at all though. But I'm pretty sure I've slept like 3 hours this weekend.
Jeez.
So yeah, between just generally being busy and my kid got a version of the flu that had him with a 40-degree fever and trip to the hospital, all the stuff you got to do, all the medicine, all the cleaning up vomit. I just haven't have not had a very restful weekend. So let's do this and do this fast.
Absolutely.
Impact Zone. Well, it's not the Impact Zone. The show's just called Impact.
Yeah.
Impact.
We are the Impact Zone.
We are the Impact Zone, And in the Impact Zone, we're going to talk about Impact. Started out with Moose and Trey Miguel because reasons.
Moose still holds a grudge from being insulted the other week, and clearly he wants to take that out on Trey.
Right. They did the video package in the Previously On, and they touched on that, and I skipped through the Previously On because I knew that we didn't have much time. So yeah, I skipped through the Previously On, but that would have reminded me, of course, that they were making fun of him for wearing a pink jacket. So Trey got a lot more offense in than I thought he would. So like early in the match, Moose hit. So Trey tried to hit the Tope con Hilo, and Moose caught him.
Yeah,
hit him with an apron powerbomb, and it was going to be a count out, but he stopped the ref from counting him out, brought him back in the ring, and then Trey got in like way more offense than he had any right to.
He really he did the work of like the entire Rascals. If this was like a 3-on-1 match, it would have, I reckon, worked to Moose's benefit. But just Trey was doing practically everything in this match, I felt.
Yeah, so that was the question that I had was, did it make Trey look amazing, or did it make Moose look weaker, or both?
I feel like it made Trey look amazing. Like Moose, it didn't make him look weak, but at the same time, the spots that he had, they were the same kind of setup ones throughout the entire match. Like he kind of grabbed him by the waist as if like for that apron powerbomb, like you mentioned, but just he used that spot multiple times. He didn't really get a chance to do much else.
Yeah, I don't know. It's because I felt like at certain points I was like, I felt like it made Moose look a little weak. There was one spot that looked really awkward. Trey went for the code breaker, and Moose blocked it by kind of just throwing him onto his ground, onto his back on the ground, and just kind of standing there.
Yeah,
for a second, and it looked really awkward. It looked like he was legitimately not cooperating with his coworker.
He's just trusting Moose, because he is a big boy, but at the same time, there needs to be a little bit more communication there.
Yeah, it was. I know it was just an awkward spot, but ultimately Moose gets the win with the big spear. His spears look awesome because he kind of flips through them, which is really nice. But yeah, it's Moose wins. Moose is strong. Trey is small. That's kind of the story here.
We'll see if it continues into next week with the other members.
Yeah. The other ones, see, Trey, the way Impact treat Trey compared to the way they treat the other two, it'll probably go to a 2-on-1 match next.
Okay.
I don't think it'll be 1-on-1 matches.
All right. So he's more the leader of the Rascals.
He's definitely the one, he's the one that they put in the X Division match, the X Division title, Ultimate X match. He's the one that they seem to be high on. Whenever the Rascals pick up a win, it's always Trey doing the pinfall.
Okay.
So he's definitely been booked as the strongest of the group, for sure.
All right, I'll have to pay attention to that more as the weeks progress then.
It almost felt like they wanted him for the X Division, and he was like, you can't book me unless you book my boys, kind of like a Spice Girls thing. You know?
I can see that, yeah.
Yeah, so in come the Rascals, and they're like, we don't really care about the team. That's how it's felt. That's honestly how it's felt. And I know Trey does a lot of their booking stuff, so that's just how it's felt to me. They felt kind of like an afterthought, and they're one of the best tag teams in the world, so, that bums me out. But yeah, moving on, we get another promo from Sami Callihan, basically just telling Rich Swann again that he's going to take everything he loves, starting with the X Division title.
Mm-hmm. It's good to see more of the backstage segments between OVE, so I'm glad that they're, we had them last week as well. Hopefully they still progress as we keep going.
Yeah, so you're seeing the mini draw and how he's doing the copycat thing behind him?
Yeah, I noticed his brother as well, kind of watching him do it. And I don't know, he wanted to call him out on it, and then he just, then when they had to say everything, he just kind of, forget it, I'll talk about it later.
It happens all the time. Yep. It gets distracting almost, and I don't pay attention to what Sammy's actually saying because it's that highly entertaining to watch the stuff happening behind him. Anyway, then we get Eli Drake and Eddie Edwards taking on KM and Fala Bar. Mm-hmm. This story is being really well told. Eli Drake, Eddie Edwards starting to gel together, starting to work together a little more. They kind of understand each other. Their tags are becoming more fluid. Everything about this match was the story was Eli Drake and Eddie Edwards. Mm-hmm. And I loved it.
This was really the story of Eli learning to trust someone to hold his wood, pretty much.
Yeah, so it turns out that Eli Drake, as much as he loves Kenny, Eddie Edwards, as much as he loves Kenny and he's protective of Kenny, he'll let Eli Drake, hold his wood. He will.
Yeah.
He will let Eli Drake hold the most famous Kenny in pro wrestling now.
I heard that bit, just like they're trying. Like we had, what was it last week before? How they had Disco when he said the AEW quote to who he thought was Cody and the Young Bucks. Like now he's just There's like a bit of tongue-in-cheek stuff now with All Elite.
Yeah, I like. It's not just with All Elite either, because I do believe that later in this show, Glenn Gilberti says something about a woman can't be the man.
Yes, I did hear that. I'm just like, is that meant to be a rib, or is it just the phrase?
No, what it is, I think that I think Don Callis understands that that kind of humor that being the elite, like the self-referential, like not afraid to take the piss out of yourself because you're a wrestler. Right? Like, this is wrestling. It's kind of silly. Let's point to the fact that it's silly while we do it, and people will appreciate that. I think, that's got a lot to do with it. But I don't know. This week's Impact and last week's Impact feel like they're written by an entirely new team again. Like, it's like, well, it feels like the same team that were writing last year going into Slammiversary. It feels like they're back, and I don't understand why they went away. I know it's the same people still in charge, but I don't understand. Yeah, it just confuses me because it's starting to get good again, and the stories are starting to make sense again. And I'm just waiting for them to fuck it for me, you know?
Like, I believe I've said this to you before. Like, 1's is an accident, 2's a coincidence, 3's a pattern. So we're 2 for 2 so far. We'll see how we go next time. But no, I'm actually impressed how they're handling a lot of things right now.
I think with Impact, it's definitely a pattern. It's an abusive relationship with their fans at this point. That's why a majority of them have left. They've gone from 1 million people watching a week down to like we're down to like the 10-20,000 mark at most now. So anyway, this story though is being really well told. The Eli Drake and Eddie Edwards story, the most famous Kenny in pro wrestling, pops me every time he says it. But yes, they did the reverse this time of last week, where Eli tossed it to Eddie. This time Eddie tossed it to Eli, used it, boom, and they got the win. It was really good. And KM and Fallah Bahh, who've been on a hot streak, that's over.
Yeah. Like, they didn't really, I noticed commentary didn't really mention their feud with Reno Scum much, if at all.
Well, I mean, I feel like Impact are high on KM and Fallah Bahh as a team, so why they didn't have this against Reno Scum... I mean, I guess Reno Scum had just lost some matches, so I don't know. It was a little weird to see KM and Fallah Bahh losing their hot streak over this, but maybe that'll play into it. Maybe they're going to have a road to redemption story of their own kind of thing.
Yeah, let's hope so.
Yeah. So then we get the first of about 25 segments featuring Rolando Menendez.
Yep. Investigative reporter.
Did you feel... Rolando Menendez, investigative reporter. Did you feel like that when you were watching? Were you like, this guy's been on like half of this show?
Yeah, they really tried to cram him in as much as, like, I think if we halved the amount of the appearances he had, it would have been fine. But there are a couple of them. The first one I liked because he didn't even announce himself, and then he got thrown to the side of the road by Taya and Johnny. And then the next time they saw him, like, you again, then they threw him into the garbage.
Don't get me wrong, I love these Rolando Menendez bits. I think it's great. And him introducing himself, Rolando Menendez, investigative reporter. Like, but at this point, he's stalking Johnny and Tyre so much, they know who he is. He doesn't need to say anything.
Yeah,
but the fun thing to me was he's asking why. And Johnny's like, if you really want to know, buy a ticket and find out like the rest of the marks.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yes, heel Johnny. Yes.
No, his interference does lead to some story progression, but at the same time, I feel like he's more of a nuisance. Like, he's not really grown on me just yet.
Really?
Yeah.
You're not high on Rolando Menendez?
No, it's just like, I think this week's episode as well, it was too much of him for me.
I think that's the point. I think it's meant to be overkill.
Okay.
Anyway, we move on. We had the flashback, Jeff Hardy versus Ken Anderson. These flashbacks are stupid.
I noticed they had the logo blurred in like the corner, but then you could see the TNA logos everywhere else. Like, they didn't commit to everything.
Yeah, they're like, that's too much effort. And then we come back and we get more Rolando Menendez. knocking on Johnny's door. He gets assaulted by Tyre, pushed in the garbage, as you said. And then Rich Swann and Willie Mack are talking backstage. Willie's like, I'm going to take care of OVE. But Ethan Page shows up and tells Mack he should be worried about him because they have a match, and then Ethan's going to come for the X Division title. This is what I mean when I say it's back to good Impact. Like, every single segment is having a purpose. This is setting up 2 or 3 things, knocking one down and setting up 3 more. You know what I mean? And that's good wrestling to me. That's a good wrestling show when that kind of thing happens.
And it felt like Ethan had been kind of lingering. I'm glad he's not doing I thought the whole football angle that partnership was going to lead somewhere with him. I'm glad that he's actually like, no, let's get him focused on winning championships.
Yeah, I'm just wondering where Matt Sydal is, because Ethan Page came in and sort of joined Matt Sydal as a tag team, and Matt Sydal's just disappeared. Did he? I sometimes lose track of the news because we cover so much stuff. Did he leave?
He left Impact. As far as I know, he hasn't signed on with anybody yet.
Right. So he's just like working random indies and stuff.
At the moment, yeah. So whether he does agree to go back to Impact, we don't know, because I believe he had a bit of an injury, and at the same time, then he left his Impact contract. So he's weighing his options.
Makes sense. But yeah, I was just kind of, every time I see Ethan Page now, I'm thinking, like, where the hell did Matt Sydal go? But anyway, and that's the problem with Impact, is sometimes talent will be linked to other talent, and then that talent will go, and then you're like, Well,
that's why in the news as well, with Impact and OVW, they've renewed their relationship. That's going to be definitely a good thing for them going forward.
Yeah, absolutely. Do we want to touch on that now? Before I was going to do the news at the end, but OVW are sort of you talked about it on All the Rest yesterday. If people want to listen to that, but they're kind of a new development territory.
And I think that when they did it the first time, it wasn't something that they really necessarily needed to do, and it felt like a blatant, like, this is our NXT kind of rip-off kind of thing, which is why it kind of fizzled out. But where Impact is now and where the wrestling landscape is now, I think this is actually good for both OVW and for Impact. Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know anyone who's in OVW at the moment, but that's because OVW is kind of that place. It's a place people go when you don't know them.
Exactly. Like, I know that the CEO is Al Snow at the moment, so he's...
Yeah, I know he's in charge, yeah. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, so they're doing that. Anyway, moving on the show here, we've got Ace Austin versus Jobber 34 with a tramp stamp on the back of his neck. Damian Hyde. Austin wins, of course, with the fold.
Yep. Are you sold on the fold yet, or no?
No. Still think it's a weak finish.
It's just...
I like Ace Austin. Weak finish. Yeah. Like, if I was running a wrestling company and I was bringing him in, which I would totally sign this kid. He's got upside. I'd just be like, just change your finish, man. You need a better finish.
It's just kind of because he's, especially in this match, we talked about Trey like flying everywhere. Like, Ace Austin seemed to do like as much, if not more, than what Trey did at the start of the show. And yeah, like, he finally just kind of quietened things down, and then you just did the fold for the pinfall.
Yeah, I don't know. To me, it just looks like a weak finish. Anyway, we move on in the show. We get a video with a woman jogging, and it says 2 weeks. What was this?
I can't explain this. Like, I thought, like, I don't think I actually saw this bit, to be honest.
I didn't see who it was. I was like, I don't have time to rewind.
Yeah.
So I didn't bother. But yeah. So someone's coming, and they're coming fast. They're through dark, through foggy morning running. They're 2 weeks. It's going to take them to get to the Impact Zone. Question is, are they 2 weeks? Are they coming to Vegas? Because I don't know if Impact will be there in 2 weeks. So
they'll have to.
Maybe they. I hope they know where they're running to. Is. Then we get Johnny Impact's explanation, and oh man, okay. Story's being told well. I enjoy it, but Johnny Impact just wasn't vibing with me as a face.
Yeah,
right. And I was like, not into it. He's a heel. As this face character, he's a heel. He really needs to be a heel. Then they made him heel because he was a heel anyway, a secret heel. He was plotting, and so they've made him heel. And now he's not vibing with me as a heel.
What do you think's changed?
I think maybe, and I never realized this because he's good in the ring, and I liked the Lucha Underground stuff because the cheesy works in Lucha
Yes.
Underground because Lucha Underground is a little cheesy,
Mm.
right? But he's just not a believable person.
Yeah.
He's just not believable. Like he's saying that he turned because of the internet smart marks. You know, we're only watching for the crashes, and then you know, as soon as the next big hunk comes along, we're cheering for that. Well, if we're watching for the crashes, why are we cheering for the big muscle up hunk? This doesn't make sense. Like none of your internal logic is consistent. And Gorn is the passion where when you were a babyface, I felt like you were a lying jerk. Now that you're a heel, I just feel like you're a jerk, and I just tune out. I don't know. It just doesn't.
To
vibe
me,
with me.
it felt like there were moments where he tried to act a bit more, try and show a bit more emotion, but at the same time, I think he was trying to act like really like cocky in front of his wife, who was like healing it up. She was fine. Like just
She was fine. She's so good.
Yeah,
as a heel.
I think the fact that he was trying to do both at the same time and it really didn't work. So I reckon if it was just him trying to be like sincere, saying like you guys betrayed me, like you marks, like I'm sick of all of you, I think it would have gelled better for you. Like if I'm pinpointing what was the issue, but yeah.
Here's how you book Johnny Impact as a heel to me, right? You keep having him say how he's the greatest, he's the fighting champion, blah, blah, blah. And then you give Taya the mic and let her do the actual heel shtick.
Yeah.
He was already being a heel, as far as I could see. He was already being a heel. Because he was saying he was a fighting champion when he wasn't. He was ducking and dodging. He was making excuses. And just keep doing exactly what you were doing, but then let Taya be like, all you fans are assholes because of this, this, and that. And because she's so much more believable. So much more believable. Probably because she's seen half of the audience dicks in her DMs.
Yeah.
You know? So it's very easy to hate them. I don't know. It's, yeah. So anyway, Taya talks about Tessa, though. This is a good part of the
Jordan.
Sorry, not Tessa. Talks about Jordan. Yeah. Picks on her for being short, then picks on all the marks in the audience. And then, Johnny, the second part of Johnny's promo, when it goes back to Johnny and Josh has a follow-up question about the match at Rebellion. And he's like, I promised him a match. I'll give him the match. I'm a man of my word. That stuff. Saying you're a man of your word, but then not being.
I was surprised. Like, I thought he was going to say something like, no, I gave him his opportunity. And then the whole thing with Killer Cross and like Cage happened. And I thought he'd, I don't know, like say like, no, that was his chance. And now he's like, after last week where we did the concrete slab and the steel chair, like he's lost his chance. But no, he's leaning more towards like he's going to have like an honorable fight. But then we'll see if he actually, again, like weasels his way out of it.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. There's just something there that's not vibing with me, but I'm willing to see it play out because the storytelling is good. I thought, it was good that they wrote out Brian Cage because giving them this segment to sort of get their heat makes sense to me. And then you can have Brian Cage finally come back next week and see what happens there. Then we move on. We get James Mitchell with Rosemary. This is one of the highlights of the week for me. So she's talking to him about, you promised us Bunny, but all we got was an empty meat suit. I love the way she says meat suit. And, he's like, well, you know who you need to talk to. I just follow his orders kind of thing. And she's like, do you think we're afraid to talk to him? We'll go to the undead realm if we have to. We'll talk to him. And then she fucks off and he's like,
so I refer to you for this one. Who is the mysterious he that she's referring to?
No idea. Satan.
Yeah, I was like, is there a Satan in the Impact world or an embodiment?
It's Vince McMahon.
Or could we say that like she's looking for Ali's soul when really, as has been announced this week, she's the latest person to be a part of All Elite Wrestling. She should have been looking with Cody and the Young Bucks.
Yeah, so what's happening there? Is Ali still under contract with
Impact? At the moment, and people are just saying like, oh, maybe she'll still do Impact, maybe not. Like at the moment, it's just all hearsay.
At this point, I'm just expecting him to kill her off. What about Jack Bonzo on Twitter? Just being like, oh, are you going to change your Twitter name? Because her Twitter handle is at Ali Impact. And he's like, are you going to change it to Ali Elite?
That's brilliant.
I thought it was amazing. I popped hard for it. And he's just like, I'll see myself out. I'm just like that. That is
Say
one
no
of the
more,
greatest
sir.
tweets
Say no
I've ever
more.
seen. Yeah, take a bow, Jack J. Bonza. Moving on. I like the supernatural stuff, so I'm really looking forward to seeing them go back to the undead realm. And I do expect Ali to die because she's obviously Ali Elite now. Moving on, Willie Mack and Ethan Page. Not much to say about this match. I love Willie Mack's reverse cannonballs, and Willie Mack wins with a stunner, which is good because we've been worried about Willie Mack being in limbo, and it looks like they may actually have realized, oh wait, this Willie Mack guy's good. We shouldn't just have him losing to random people.
He's the NWA national champion for a reason, and they've kind of clued onto the fact.
Yeah, he's one of the most underrated guys in the country. And he's sort of, we've talked about it before, like he doesn't get a lot of work, and it's insane. I think Jay and I used to speculate, like maybe he doesn't want to work full schedule, because surely he could.
I'm sure he could, absolutely.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm glad to see them sort of taking advantage of the fact that they have Willie Mack, because he's very good, and he had some spots on this show to shine in the ring, and also some spots to shine on the mic, because he's very charismatic.
It just seems very natural.
Yeah, he's super charismatic. It just seems like such a great dude. And so later he has another spot as well. So it's 3 spots where we've seen Willie Mack on this show, and it made me very happy. Then we see Rolando Menendez. He approaches Impact and Taya again. Johnny calls him hot garbage, and then Killer Cross shows up, and they whisper back and forth, and Johnny's like, this day is getting better and better. What was this about, do you reckon?
I thought, like, when he said bravo, I was naturally thinking, like, oh, they've confirmed that they're going to be teaming up, and then he whispered in his other ear, and it looked like he kind of came off a little bit worse after that. He was just a little bit, I don't know, seething is the right word, because you can never tell with Killer Cross.
Yeah. So then Rolando Menendez interviews Glenn Gilberti. And this was great. Glenn Gilberti saying he doesn't need to train. He's fighting a girl. It's going to be a 1-star match. 6 for his performance, -5 for her, making it the highest rated women's match in history.
Yeah.
And then he has the whole line about, the women's revolution is a joke. A woman can't be the man. So firing shots at Becky Lynch there. He's trying to get promoted.
I don't think, of all the people on the social media to attack, I don't think Becky Lynch is the best person, because her Twitter game is on point.
No, she is the best person, because, if someone's gotten into Don Callis' ear, by the way, Becky's actually an Impact fan. She watches when she can.
I had no idea.
Right? Imagine that. No, I'm not saying that that's the case. I'm saying if it is. If something like that was the case, I could imagine him saying, take shots at Becky. Like, do it. Because she might tweet, and then we'll get some publicity.
It's smart. Yeah, no, in that case, yeah.
Because if she does tweet at you, you're the talk of the town. It's, so it's pretty smart. I'm not saying she watches Impact. She probably doesn't. I mean, a woman like her doesn't have time to probably watch any of the shows that even she's on. So the schedule that they work in WWE is insane. Especially when you're on top. Anyway, then we get Gail Kim coming out of the office. She says she's going to do what she needs to do, so we don't know if she's going to actually apologize like she's being asked to, or if she's going to, attack. She's probably going to attack, right? That's yeah. Then it's sort of no breaks here. It's just like one long shot, and LAX and Lucha Brothers start brawling backstage, and it goes for way too long, and it's a little bit awkward.
Absolute children.
And then we get the next Willie Mack spot, which was OVE going into his dressing room behind him, and then you hear fighting noises, and he comes out with a chair, and he's just like, man, we need better security.
Yeah.
He's so lovable.
I love him, yeah.
He's super lovable.
There was there was no security at all who even attempted to try and go into his locker room, like towards the end, like, oh no, don't worry guys, I've got it handled. Yeah. I was expecting something like that. But...
All right, and then we get the main event, of course. Now OVE are out of the picture, so Rich Swann, Sami Callihan, 1-on-1 for the X Division title. The spit spots make me feel sick to my stomach.
He never does this like in MLW. Like, I don't know if this is a recent thing, but he needs to stop with the spit spots.
It's new. It's only happened recently, and it's disgusting.
Yeah, it's like I was kind of yelling at the screen, and like my fiance was kind of worried about me. I'm just saying, like, stop being so feral. I kind of yelled out and just
that happens in this house all the time.
Yeah.
Rich Swann getting mad and spitting in Sammy's face was really good.
That was a good like comeback. Yeah,
he like fired up with all the shots, the spinning back fist and stuff, and then boom, spat right in his face. The Phoenix Splash misses, Pile Driver gets blocked, roll up, Rich Swann retains, and everyone's celebrating and happy. And then in comes a mystery man to me. He gets called, well, that's Madman Fulton. That's Madman Fulton. As if anyone knows who the fuck Madman Fulton is. No one knows who Madman Fulton is because that's not his name.
No, it's
That's
not.
never been his name. His name was Sawyer Fulton in WWE. I'm surprised they're getting around calling him Fulton at all, but, you know, I guess that's where we're at. He's Madman Fulton now. He used to be in WWE's Sanity.
Yeah, before he had a torn pec, and
yeah. And so now he's... Interesting fact, though, about Sanity. They were originally supposed to be Sami Callihan's group, too.
Okay, I can see that,
He was, what was his name in NXT? He was like a hacker type character.
Oh, you're testing me now. I can't remember. I'll have to look it up for you.
Yeah, I was doing the same thing. Jeremiah Crane? No, that's
Jeremiah Snake? No, that's his Lucha.
That's in Lucha Underground where he's Jeremiah Crane. Solomon Crow.
Okay.
Is that what he was? He was Solomon Crow.
Mm-hmm.
And and he had the red bit in his hair and stuff. And he was supposed to... He pitched to Triple H, allegedly, this is what I've read. He pitched to Triple H having a group of just, you know, crazy motherfuckers. And then Triple H gave that to Eric Young and then kicked out Sami Callihan. And he went to Impact and MLW, where he did the groups. He's got the group over in MLW. He's got the group here in Impact. So he just did it anyway. And now Sawyer Fulton, full circle, has left Sanity, left WWE, come to Impact and joined his original leader.
Swings and roundabouts. It all makes sense.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. I actually thought that was pretty awesome. But that's it for Impact this week. OVE get a new member. Will Rich Swann and... Because Willie Mack, I feel like Willie Mack can counter both of OVE.
Yes,
or Willie Mack can counter Madman Fulton. But can Willie Mack counter all three in Rich Swann's favor? I don't think he can. I think they're going to need some more backup.
They'll need some more backup for that one. And like they can't... Tommy Dreamer won't be enough if they keep with that partnership.
No, Tommy Dreamer definitely will not be enough. So I'm interested to see where this goes. Everything was good this week. A significant, distinct, noticeable lack of Scarlett Bordeaux.
Yeah, so she's doing the rounds in other places. Like she's just been announced to be appearing here in a couple months.
Hunter Valley Wrestling, July 27th. Scarlett Bordeaux, The Smoke Show comes down under.
Look forward to
see what I did there.
I see it. Yeah, very good.
Yeah, I was proud of that.
She's talking to all the fives, and just the 10 is upon us soon.
Yeah. So, is there anything else Impact to talk about this week before we go?
Briefly, just the fact that on their Impact Press Play podcast, they Low-Key was announced to be answering the challenge for United We Stand against LAX.
Yeah, so Low-Key coming back,
and it was a very. He was there for the entire hour of their podcast, which he should have only been there for like half of it because the most of it was just answering fan questions. But he even threw some shade at Johnny Impact there, which makes me think like he's kind of testing the waters on returning to Impact, and then we could
honestly they could use him. They could.
They definitely would. Yeah. So and they've him and Impact have had history. So like I mean the person rather than the promotion.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you need more people in the heavyweight contendership pool, like bring back the professional, absolutely.
Which is pretty crazy when you think about it, because when you think Impact early days, he's the X Division guy, is Low-Key, you know? So, yeah, anyway, it's, Low-Key coming back for United We Stand, big news. But that does it for Impact Zone this week. Where can people find you, Mr. Mysterious?
You guys can find me on all the socials at Mr Mysterious with 1 and 7 I, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Hit me up, guys. We'll have a good chat. How about yourself?
I am at Greg Unchained on Twitter, at the Greg Unchained on Instagram. We collectively are the B Plus Wrestle on Twitter because wrestling wouldn't fit the B Plus Wrestling everywhere else. Like, share, subscribe, 5-star review if you like what we do. And thank you so much for listening.
See you guys.
Hold one. Arm drag. You're not good at this. Get out. Let me tell you a personal story about Vince McMahon. You just made the list. Oh my God.
Sorry, no speak English.
Dummy.
Goodbye and good night.
Hold two. Arm bar.
This is the worst town I've ever
spinning. It's still real to me, damn it. Coming.
Hold 3. The moss covered.